Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel Movie Creepers. The Hellraiser franchise has taken audiences on a terrifying journey through pain, pleasure, and the twisted realm of the Cenobites. With each installment, new victims face the horrors of the Lament configuration, uncovering dark secrets and meeting their gruesome fates. In this video, we'll dive into the next set of films in the Hellraiser saga, exploring Hellraiser, Hellseeker to Hellraiser 2022, and their chilling stories and sinister revelations. Before we jump into the exploration, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on future videos. Thank you. Let's begin. Hellraiser, Hellseeker. Trevor Gooden and his wife, Kirsty Cotton, are driving when Trevor swerves to avoid another car and crashes off a bridge into a river. Trevor escapes, but Kirsty remains trapped inside. He wakes up in a hospital suffering from headaches and amnesia, with Kirsty missing. Though Trevor insists her door was locked, it was found open. He experiences disturbing nightmares, including visions of a surgeon performing painful surgery on him. As Trevor pieces his memories together, he discovers a tape showing he gave Kirsty the Lament configuration as an anniversary present. He is romantically involved with multiple women, his boss Gwen, as well as Tawny and Sage, but soon experiences terrifying hallucinations. He dreams of two Cenobites murdering Gwen, then later sees Tawny dead with Pinhead appearing to give him a note saying, "All your problems are solved." However, when he wakes up, Tawny is alive but has no recollection of being with him. Trevor starts questioning reality when he realizes Dr. Allison, a woman he's been speaking to, is a hallucination. Meanwhile, his friend Brett angrily confronts him in a nightmare, reminding Trevor that they plan to kill Kirsty for her inheritance and make it look like a suicide. Brett, feeling betrayed after the botched plan, shoots himself in the head. More murders follow. Sage is found stabbed, and Gwen is revealed to be dead. Trevor is suspected of the killings, but Detective Lang believes he is innocent. Lang soon takes Trevor to the morgue, revealing that he and Detective Gibbons are actually the same person, both manifestations created by Pinhead. At the morgue, Trevor prepares to identify a body, but is suddenly restrained by hooked chains as Pinhead reveals the truth. When Trevor gave Kirsty the puzzle box, hoping the Cenobites would take her, Pinhead found Trevor unworthy. Instead, Kirsty made a deal to exchange 5 souls for her own. She killed Gwen, Tawny, Sage, and Brett, delivering them to Pinhead. However, for souls weren't enough. Kirsty ensured Trevor was the 5th by shooting him in the head before the crash. Trevor finally sees his own corpse, realizing he has been in hell the entire time. In reality, Kirsty has survived and frames Trevor for the murders. The authorities believe he killed himself and the others, as the bullets match his gun. The film ends with Kirsty walking away with the Lament configuration, leaving Trevor trapped in eternal torment.
Don't think for a moment you are not in danger.
Hellraiser, Deader. Amy Klein, a reporter for a London newspaper, is sent to Bucharest to investigate the Deaders, an underground suicide cult that can bring people back from the dead. She receives a tape showing a young woman, Katia, shooting herself in the head and being resurrected by the cult's leader, Winter. Her editor, Charles, gives her the address from the tape, and she arrives at an abandoned building where she finds the corpse of Marla, a cult member, clutching the Lament configuration puzzle box. Amy takes the box and a tape Marla left behind. The tape warns her not to join Winter and never to open the box. Ignoring the warning, Amy opens the Lament configuration and is nearly dragged into the box by Pinhead, who warns her of impending danger. Following clues from the tape, Amy boards the last train on the subway and meets Joey, who guides her to the underground lair of the Deaders. She witnesses Winter performing a resurrection ritual and reviving a cult member. Winter attempts to influence Amy, seeing her as a key to his plans, and sets her up to die and return as a Deader. She suddenly enters a nightmare dimension, where she is stabbed with a knife, but does not feel pain. In this realm, she meets Pinhead, who claims Winter's soul belongs to him. She also encounters Marla, who reveals that Winter seeks someone capable of solving the puzzle box while also being able to return as a Deader. Marla explains that for the Deaders, life and death are meaningless, and she was the one who stabbed Amy. Amy experiences a vision of her traumatic past, recalling how she killed her abusive father in self-defense. At that moment, she seemingly dies from her wounds. However, she wakes up back in the Deader's lair, surrounded by the cult members. Rather than succumbing to Winter's influence, Amy throws the lament configuration away. Pinhead and his Cenobites appear, declaring Winter a descendant of Philip Lamarchand, who has overstepped his bounds. Pinhead unleashes his hooked chains, tearing Winter apart and slaughtering the remaining debtors, including Marla, Katia, and Joey. As Pinhead prepares to claim Amy's soul, she defies him by stabbing herself, preventing him from taking her. The lament configuration explodes, destroying the building and banishing Pinhead back to hell. Later, Charles watches a news report about the destruction, revealing that the lament configuration has been recovered from the rubble.
Welcome to Hell.
Hellraiser, Hellworld, 2005. A group of young adults obsessed with Hellworld, an online game based on the Hellraiser franchise, suffer tragic consequences after the suicide of their friend, Adam. At Adam's funeral, the remaining five, Chelsea, Jake, Mike, Derek, and Allison, blame themselves for not preventing his death. 2 years later, the group receives invitations to an exclusive Hellworld party at a remote mansion, which was once a convent and asylum supposedly built by Lamarchand. Despite reservations, they attend, with Mike, Derek, and Allison eager to enjoy the event, while Chelsea and Jake remain wary. Upon arrival, they are greeted by the enigmatic host, a middle-aged man who provides them with drinks, a tour, and cell phones to communicate. As the night unfolds, Allison, Derek, and Mike are lured into different parts of the house, where they are brutally killed by Pinhead, his Cenobite minions Chatterer and Bound, or the host himself. Meanwhile, Chelsea and Jake experience bizarre encounters. Other partygoers and even the police fail to acknowledge their presence, and they witness horrifying visions of the Cenobites. Chelsea eventually uncovers the truth. The host is Adam's grieving father, who orchestrated an elaborate revenge plan against them for his son's death. He reveals that he had drugged all five of them with a powerful psychedelic, then buried them alive in coffins outside the mansion, connected to air tubes. Their entire experience inside the house was a hallucination, shaped by his voice suggestions over their cell phones. Allison, Derek, and Mike succumbed to the psychological torture and died in their coffins, while Chelsea and Jake barely survive. Days later, the police rescue Chelsea and Jake, informing them they were led to the graves by a mysterious phone call traced to the empty mansion. As they leave, Adam's ghost is seen watching from a window. Meanwhile, the host, satisfied with his revenge, finds his son's belongings in a room and stumbles upon a real Lamarchand's box. Unwittingly opening it, he summons Pinhead and the Cenobites, who mock his disbelief before tearing him apart. In the final scene, Chelsea and Jake drive away, only to receive a call from the host, who appears in their back seat. They nearly crash, but manage to stop the car. Elsewhere, police enter the host's room, finding it covered in blood, with the puzzle box lying ominously on the floor. Hellraiser, Revelations. Stephen Craven and Nico Bradley run away to Mexico, indulging in days of drunken partying before mysteriously vanishing. The Mexican authorities return their belongings, including a videotape recorded by Stephen and an ornate puzzle box. A year later, the families of the missing boys gather for dinner. Emma, Stephen's sister and Nico's girlfriend, frustrated by the lack of closure, insists on seeing Stephen's videotape, which her mother has been obsessively watching. Sneaking a look, Emma sees footage of Nico murdering a girl in a bar restroom and blackmailing Stephen into continuing their reckless spree. Later, Nico acquires a mysterious puzzle box from a vagrant who tempts him with promises of new experiences. While searching through Stephen's belongings, Emma finds the puzzle box and unknowingly activates it. Suddenly, Stephen reappears, covered in blood, warning that the Cenobites are coming. The families attempt to flee but find themselves stranded. Playing with the puzzle box again, Emma experiences intense arousal and unsettling visions. She later has an intimate encounter with Stephen, but a horrifying vision of chains and mutilation shocks her. Soon after, Nico's father is murdered by the vagrant, and Stephen retrieves a shotgun, shooting his father before taking the group hostage. A flashback reveals that Nico had solved the puzzle box, summoning the Cenobites, sadomasochistic beings led by Pinhead. Nico was taken to their realm and tortured, while Stephen escaped. Later, Nico, now skinless, communicated with Stephen through the puzzle box, convincing him to kill prostitutes to regenerate his body. However, when Stephen refused to continue, Nico killed him and took his skin. Before dying, Stephen used the puzzle box to contact the Cenobites, seeking revenge. It is then revealed that Steven is actually Nico wearing Steven's skin. He taunts the families and reveals that he and Steven ran away partly because their parents were engaged in an affair. He forces Emma to solve the puzzle box to offer her in his place. Instead, she summons the Cenobites, including the real Steven, who now serves them. When Nico tries to sacrifice Emma to save himself, Pinhead refuses, instead reclaiming Nico. As Nico is dragged away, Emma's father kills him out of revenge. Enraged, the Cenobites take Emma's mother as a replacement victim before disappearing. With her father dead and her family gone, a devastated Emma reaches for the puzzle box, hinting at her dark fascination with it. Hellraiser, Judgment. In Hellraiser, Judgment, Pinhead and the Auditor of the Stygian Inquisition discuss how to adapt their soul-harvesting methods as advancing human technology renders the lament configurations obsolete. Meanwhile, on Earth, Detective Sean and David Carter, along with Christine Edgerton, investigate a serial killer called the Preceptor, who bases his murders on the Ten Commandments. A lead connects the case to Carl Watkins, a criminal who vanished near an abandoned house. Sean investigates the house and loses consciousness, awakening in the domain of the Stygian Inquisition. As the Inquisition prepares to pass judgment on him for his sins, the angel Jophiel intervenes, ordering Sean's release. He escapes with his stolen puzzle box, but he is haunted by visions of the Cenobites, who promise judgment to anyone who opens it. Sean and Christine later discover a victim's cell phone recording that leads them to the Preceptor's hideout. There, Sean incapacitates Christine and reveals that he is the Preceptor. Meanwhile, David, realizing his brother's identity as the killer, tracks him down with the coroner's help. At the hideout, Sean takes his wife, Allison, hostage, enraged by her affair. He forces David and Allison to open the puzzle box, summoning the Cenobites and a portal to their realm. Hoping to evade punishment, Sean offers his wife and brother to Pinhead in exchange for his freedom. However, the Auditor informs him that a separate faction of Hell has already claimed his soul. As Sean's fate is sealed, Jophiel intervenes again, arguing that he is part of Heaven's plan to instill fear in sinners. Despite this, Pinhead manipulates events so that Christine kills Sean. Enraged by Jophiel's interference, he defies Heaven and kills the angel. As punishment for his defiance, God expels Pinhead from Hell, stripping him of his powers and condemning him to live as a mortal on Earth. In a post-credit scene, a group of Mormon missionaries in Germany unknowingly approach a house controlled by the Stygian Inquisition, hinting at their grim fate.
We have such sights to show you.
Hellraiser, 2022 film. Wealthy businessman Roland Voigt lures a homeless man, Joey, into his mansion, where he offers him a mysterious puzzle box. Upon solving it, Joey is slashed by a hidden blade and gruesomely torn apart by chains. 6 years later, Riley McKendry, a recovering addict, lives with her brother Matt, his boyfriend Colin, and their roommate Nora. Riley's boyfriend, Trevor, persuades her to break into an abandoned warehouse, where they find the puzzle box. Riley takes it home, but after an argument with Matt, she leaves and solves the box in a park. Though she avoids being cut, she starts seeing horrific mutilated creatures, the Cenobites, who warn her that the blade was meant to claim her. Matt, feeling guilty, searches for Riley and accidentally cuts himself on the box while waking her. He disappears in the bathroom, and Riley believes the box is responsible. Seeking answers, she and Trevor visit Serena Menaker, Voight's former lawyer, who recognizes the box's power. When Serena tries to take it from Riley, she is cut by the blade and later taken by the Cenobites. Riley investigates Voight's abandoned mansion, where she finds disturbing journals and encounters a flayed apparition of Matt. Trevor, Colin, and Nora arrive, but Nora is trapped in a hidden passage and stabbed by a mysterious figure wielding the box. As the others attempt to escape in a van, Nora is gruesomely killed by the Cenobites, led by Pinhead, the priest. Their van crashes, and Riley is confronted by the priest, who tells her she must complete 2 more sacrifices or choose herself. They return to Voight's mansion, but Trevor is wounded by a Cenobite, the Chatter. Riley solves the next configuration, stabbing the Chatterer and sacrificing him. She and Colin attempt to lure another Cenobite inside, but the box is taken by Voight, who has been hiding in the mansion. Voight, still suffering from a mechanical contraption attached to his body as a past reward, reveals he hired Trevor to manipulate Riley. He seeks a new reward from the Cenobites, while Riley stabs Trevor, making him the final sacrifice. The Cenobites remove Voight's device, but claim him for another transformation, dragging him into their realm. Offered a reward, Riley chooses nothing, accepting a life of regret. The Cenobites declare this the Lament configuration and leave. Riley and Colin exit the mansion as Voight undergoes a brutal transformation into a Cenobite, his body flayed and his eyes changing, signifying his new existence.
You have chosen the Lament configuration.
The final takeaway. From cursed puzzle boxes to sadistic deals with the Cenobites, the Hellraiser series continues to push the boundaries of horror. Each film adds new layers to the mythos, blending psychological torment with gruesome body horror. Which of these Hellraiser movies left the biggest impact on you? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more horror breakdowns.
Your soul is mine, and mine alone.